Hello everyone, my name is Elizaveta and Timur is here with us too. He's the EB-1A visa green card specialist and he today will share a very important information of everything that you need to know about the EB-1A visa. If you are already in the US or if you're traveling to US and you want to get a green card one day, we want to share one of the ways that not many people know about how you can get your green card. It does not require any employer in the US, it does not require family in the US, it doesn't require big investment actually. So everything that you need to do is present your achievements in your field of talent. And your field of talent can be actually anything, right? So if you're an artist or an IT specialist or an engineer or a doctor or anything else, right? So Timur, hello, can you please share some basic information first about the EB-1A visa? And what I mean by that, firstly, is of course, like the length of this visa, how much time is it given for, and right, some basic requirements maybe. Just share this.
Okay, yeah, sure. So in case of the time frame within which you can receive this visa, for example, if you apply in January, you can expect to get your ready-made green card in the United States already given to you in a physical form, maybe by September. So 8-9 months. So this is a time frame for this visa, considering our application process, consular process, and going to the United States itself and expect your visa. In case of the first visa which is issued to you and how long it's valid for, all green cards, employment-based green cards, including EB-1A and EB-1-2, that's why they're called EB visa, employment-based. And EB-1 is given to you for 10 years. So it's a permanent residence permit for 10 years. After some time, if you're eligible, you can apply for citizenship, switch after 5 years in case of the United States. Talking about who is eligible for this visa, you can basically expect any category. On the official website, American government says that people from business, from some creative professions, people from STEM, like science, technology, engineering, and all kinds of people from business or business related spheres, they are eligible to apply for this visa. So in case of EB-1, it's a very wide spectrum of people who can apply and who can expect to be endorsed under this visa category. We have cases for people who work in IT and having applied to this visa, they got their endorsement. We have people working in some creative professions like music, singing, or other design related professions, and also being successful in this path. So it's not limited to any profession. In case of requirements, they are all the same for any category, 10 criteria. Out of them, you have to meet at least 3. And after this, you get your endorsement and consular process begins. I am not sure if it's relevant to talk about criteria itself. It's like there's 10 basic criteria which are probably the same in many of the talent visas, publications, being a judge, high salary, awards, international recognition, and so on. So in case of many professions, they do meet at least 2 or 3 criteria at the very beginning. Like if you work in any profession, it's a very high chance, any profession I mean, which is eligible under this visa, it's a very high chance that you already meet at least 2 or 3 criteria, because like that's a standard procedure. There's no way you don't meet none of the criteria. It's very a low chance. So in case of basic information, that's it. So we talked about eligibility, who this visa is for, and how to apply for it. Probably it's needed to talk right now about how to apply for a consular process, but I think it's a very long process, so
It
don't need
depends
to talk about
actually.
it now.
Sometimes you need that, sometimes you do not need that. Depends
Yeah,
on whether
true.
you apply from outside the US or inside the US, right? But yeah, I would just, can you please share a little information about like the process, or like the stage 2 process? What it requires, maybe how it looks from people applying inside and outside the US, and of course the timings of getting the visa, like how fast can you get it? It's one of the fastest green cards out there, actually, like
Yeah,
one of the
that's
fastest
true.
one.
Yeah. So in general, as I said, 8-9 months. That's considering the first stage and the consular stage. If you apply from the outside of the USA, you can expect to be endorsed to this visa within maybe 2-3 months. After this, the second process, the second stage differs for everybody because it depends. But in general, maybe 4 or 5 months. This includes you collecting documents like passport, other documentations, then applying for this visa in the consular process, going to a medical checkup because it's a requirement for all immigration visas, and then coming to the interview. So probably the longest time frame, which is going to take the most of the time within the consular processing, is you waiting for your interview because some of the embassies, they are loaded. They have very big lines for people waiting to be interviewed, and you may expect to wait from 2 months to 4 months. This is like a standard procedure. If you're lucky, you may be called for an interview way sooner, like within 1 month. This in case the embassy is not loaded, in case like there's not a lot of people applying for the same category or for any other immigration visa. So that's very important to consider. In case of collecting the documents and submitting them, that's a very basic thing to do. I think that people can do it themselves, like without asking for any help. So you just need to collect passports, marriage certificates, translate them to English, and then send them to the NVC. But it's very important to do it so using mail, not email, but mail, because you print your documents and you send it to NVC in the USA. Because most of the immigration cases that are endorsed by the USCIS, they do not participate in electronic visa program. So you cannot send your case by email. There's no such a thing. This is not allowed. So you have to do it by mail, by standard usual mail. Then after you get your endorsement after the interview, you can expect your green card to be issued to you within 120 days after you arrive to the USA. Maybe sooner, maybe a little bit later. But after you get it, boom, Bob's your uncle. Very perfect. So yeah, very basic process for consular processing, I think, and it's easy.
And what about if I am already in the US and I am considering switching from other types of visa to the EB-1A? Like which types of visa I can switch from, and how long it will take me, and what's the process like at this point?
It's also not very difficult process in case of visas from which you can switch. There is a very wide range of visas. Many people switch from other working visas. For example, it's a very typical case when people come to the USA on O1 visa, which is non-immigrant visa, which is bounding you to one employer. And after some time, after their contract gets terminated, they apply for EB-1 visa. That's a very nice thing to do because O1 and EB-1, they match criteria. Like 8 of the 10 criteria there are, they match with EB-1. Other employment-based visas, if you come to the USA based on employment, you can switch to EB-1 just by applying for this. You can do it also, which is often case, after living on the asylum status in the United States, but there is a specific time frame after which you can switch your status. If you were granted asylum, you have to live for at least 1 year before applying for a different kind of visas because that's a requirement. Why did you ask for asylum if you don't need asylum and you're switching to a different kind of visas? And you can switch from a student visa. It's a very typical thing to do, but in all of the cases where you switch your status, where you adjust your status, be careful with timing because if you do not apply for premium processing within 15 days, it can take all the time from 2 months to 4 months. And you need to make sure that your status before the decision is granted is valid. If it's not, you have to leave, and it's a very hectic process. In case of the difficulty adjusting status, if you apply for EB-1 visa, you just file 485 form, and this adjusts your status automatically if you're granted EB-1 positive decision. If not, you just apply the form. There's a specific form that you fill in and apply and adjust your status. You can do it simultaneously with your EB-1 I-140 application petition, or you can do it after your granted decision. So that doesn't matter. You can do it simultaneously or step by step. So it's not very difficult. But after it, you have to wait. So adjustment can take up to 10 months in case of the one you're within the United States. So you have to be patient, have to wait for this time. So yeah, also not difficult process, but just you have to wait a lot of time. So American immigration is all about waiting, is all about being patient.
Yeah, it's all about being patient, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, yeah, basically it works like that. Nothing extraordinary though, and sometimes usually this process is quite easy. The only thing is that to understand whether you're eligible for this visa or not. So this is the hardest part actually of this process, the start of it. Understanding whether you're eligible or not, understanding what documents can be provided, and so on and so forth. So if you're interested in that, please, you can sign up for a consultation with one of our experts. We can help you understand whether it's eligible for you or not, what time it will take you, what you need to do, and so on and so forth, and what chances exactly you have of getting a visa. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Thank you, Timur. Goodbye.